Okay, welcome back to the channel. Today we're actually going to shoot the black powder rifles that I posted the video earlier on about getting into traditional muzzle loading and things like that. So today we're gonna do some shooting. I'm basically getting ready for hunting season, which comes up on November 1st. At the recording of this particular video, we are about 3 weeks out. And I just want to make sure that I have two black powder rifles and I want to be able to hunt with either one of them. I'm going to show you those in just a minute. The first thing I want to do though is show you what I take in my possibles bag, and then a couple of extra things that I have out here today to do some range shooting. This is the overall setup I've got here today. On the far right, you'll see in the background is just a rest that I built. I had a part. It was I don't remember what the brand was, Hops maybe, but it was a part that you'd make your own rest with it. So that's what I did this years ago. In the foreground over there on the right, you're going to see my possibles bag. And now I'm going to get real close so you can see the various things that go in it. Okay, so moving in here, this screws onto my ramrod. You would have seen that before in the last video. That goes in the possibles bag. This is called it's either called a ball board, bullet board, ball block, bullet block. I made this one. I shoot 50 caliber muzzle loaders, so this is bored to a 1/2 inch with a Forstner bit, and then I just trimmed it up with spoke shaves and just tried to make it look like a little something. This is a ball starter or bullet starter. All of these are in my possibles bag. Percussion caps. So I brought some extra ones out here. These are CCI number 11s. They've been working fine. People have their own favorites. This works fine for me. I don't carry a whole can like this in the possibles bag. I do carry a capper, and this, as you can see, the caps go in there. They go in this hole back here upside down, and then they get to the end there, and you can use that. That one's actually facing wrong, but you get the idea that I carry that in my possibles bag. I also carry a powder measure. This particular one's set for 70 grains. That's my starting load, my go-to load. Then powder flask, and that contains I think this is almost 8 ounces, either 4 or 8 ounces of black powder, not sure. And then today I don't carry this in my shooting bag or my possibles bag, but there's some safety glasses here, and we've got some earphones or earmuffs, and they will just help because I'm going to be shooting them a little bit today. You know, at least 6 rounds, 3 out of each rifle. And then there's a past recoil shield. Now, obviously, I wouldn't use that hunting, but I do use it at the range. It saves my shoulder from getting totally trashed. That's just what I had. Lubed patches is what I use that for over here. I've got cleaning patches, and I got some lubed patches that I'm going to use to shoot with. And then isopropyl alcohol. This particular isopropyl is like 70%, I think. Actually, it's 50%. The other stuff I got in there is 70%. It works fine. Then I got my little can that I showed you on the last video with all the various and sundry tools in it. And then I got 6 .490 caliber balls coupled with the patch. They will make up something just over .50, which makes it tight to push down, is what you want. And all of this stuff here goes in the possibles bag, and some patches and all that, not the alcohol, but this is what I take in. And I'm going to clean between shots today. I don't normally do that if I'm hunting. In fact, I don't do it if I'm hunting, but if I'm at the range, I want to duplicate the shot as much as I can. So over here, you've seen this gun if you watched my last video. This is Thompson Center Hawken. They don't make these anymore. They haven't made them for quite a while. However, I was just on a muzzleloading forum this morning, and there was a link to Thompson Center. One of the guys there, maybe the CEO, not sure, he was actually shooting one of these, and he was talking about how awesome they are. So maybe they're going to come back and make them. I don't know. That's what that is. This is a 50 caliber. So that's, see down there, it's a pretty big bore size. And then this one here is a Pennsylvania long rifle. It's made by a company called Traditions. They still make these. This one is in 50 caliber. It is percussion. If I understand the history anywhere near correctly, when they first started making the Pennsylvania long rifle way back in the latter part, I think, of the 18th century, they were flintlocks. And then at some point in the 1820s, 30s, 40s, they started converting older flintlocks and then even maybe producing those in cap locks, which is what this is. This is a cap lock. It's also called percussion. Okay, what I did was I removed my ramrod and I put my handle on it and I put a jag on the end of it so that it would just make it faster. If I was hunting, you know, it'd be one thing, but I'm not hunting. So since I'm at the range trying to gauge what's going on here, I'm not really sweating it too bad. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fire a couple of caps. So just the caps just ensure that the channel is clear. And I'm going to do that. And I just need to I got to take this one and flip it back around the correct way. This one somehow got in backwards. And so you won't be able to see it from here, but what happens is if it's clear, it'll actually move the leaves and debris down at the bottom. And just to be safe, or just to make sure that I'm clear, I always fire 2 caps. And we are clear. So now we're going to load up. So I have powder measure, powder horn. So I will pour powder into the powder measure. And what I do is I'll give it a couple of taps, just like that, up against the table or whatever. If I was hunting it, I might not even give it any taps, or a tree or something like that. Then powder always goes in first, and then just down there to make sure I've got the full 70 grains. And then I will take a patch. Now, I'm showing all this to you in real time now. When you see me do it in subsequent loads, I may speed up the video. And I just try to center the patch up as much as possible. There's your ball starter. And then ramrod. And if you're using a hickory ramrod, don't try to get all the way up high, because it can break. And I've seen some nasty things like that happen. So I get down really close and push it like a little bit at a time until it gets down to the bottom. When it gets to the bottom, you can kind of feel it seat. And then for me, I just go 1, 2, 3, give it 3 little taps just to make sure it's seated. And then my ramrod goes away until after I've fired a shot. And aside from capping, I'm right now ready to go. So I'm going to cap and then put my safety glasses on. And if I'm at the range, I'm always using safety glasses. If I'm not at the range, if I'm hunting, I don't typically. So I got two two paper plates down there. And I've always heard that if you can keep your shots inside the paper plate, then you're good for whatever distance you're shooting at. Now, I've got 3-inch stick-on bullseye, or 3-inch stick-on bullseyes down there. So that's my aiming point. And then I'll shoot 3 out of each gun. And then I will check the groups. I also brought my binoculars because although at 50 yards, you could probably see, I could probably see those holes, but I wouldn't be exactly positively sure that with the binoculars, I'm gonna be able to get close enough without going down just to see what my group looks like. And that's really what I'm trying to do today, is just see where the group is. So let's get started with this. There's a cat on my range, but he's not in the way. Get out of here, cat. There he goes. Not trying to I'm gonna take a quick look just to make sure I'm on paper. Yeah, all 3 of those shots are there together. It's actually a really good group. It's just that they're too doggone high. Having trouble telling because it looks like the shot printed there in the same spot. Looks like, yeah, it looks like I got 4. Yeah, I got 4 shots in the same spot. So that's a ridiculous group, but it's way too high. Or it's too high for what I want. I might have sighted this in for 75 yards, but it's not really where I want to be. Okay, it looks from here like I'm drop dead in the bullseye. Yeah, I am. All right. Yeah, so that was good. That's a little bit to the right. It's probably, let's see, 1.5 inches, 2. couple inches to the right, but it's consistent with the 50-yard shot. So that means I need to roll one more through there and see if I'm in that same general area. And then I'll take you down and show you the groups. Actually, that was the third shot. So I'm going to take you down and show you the group. Okay, so we're at 50 yards, and I'm going to try to point out and hold this camera at the same time and show you the exact order of the shots. This was the first shot, second shot, third shot, and that's really a great group. That group's like, you know, under 1.5 inches. My fourth shot, which was off that second 3-shot group, was right here. So that's after I lowered it, lowered the sight, rear sight, maybe close to a full turn. I lowered it another full turn, and there's shot number 5. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And then the 6th shot caught me a little bit by surprise, but you could still see I'm on. Now this is a 3-inch dot, so if I could took that and put that in there, I'd be about 3 inches apart on those two. So I'm not unhappy with that. That's where I really want to be. Not as good a group as up here, but I think that was me, especially on that last shot. I had pulled the set trigger and got it set up, and it just basically caught me by surprise while I was sighting it. Okay, we're ready to fire the Hawken. So, just to recap, I did fire caps just to make sure the channel was clear. I took my ramrod, I put my handle on there, put the jag on there. Now, if I was hunting, I wouldn't be doing all this, but I don't need to when you're hunting. But this is the ramrod I used for this one. I could have used the other one. They're the same caliber, but that's a really long ramrod. So I am now ready to cap and fire. So we're going to do that, and we're going to shoot 3 shots at the right-hand target down there, and hopefully have some good results. I'm tempted to let that one be a surprise for you viewers because it's dead center. It's exactly what I want, which is really making me want to hunt with this gun, vice the long rifle, but I really like that long rifle. So, but I'm not done yet. So I'm going to run a alcohol patch and a couple of dry patches through, and we're gonna keep shooting. Shoot 2 more times. Now, full disclosure, this particular gun, this particular Hawken, has a Thompson Center peep aperture sight that mounts to the tang, and I had to drill an extra screw or an extra hole for one of the screws because that's the way it's made. And I really like shooting with a peep aperture. In fact, with this type of rifle, not this exact gun, but with this type of rifle, I killed my first muzzleloader deer with it with the peep aperture sight. and it's just something that's naturally makes your eye point that thing to the center. All right, we've run a couple of patches. Now we're going to run some powder. And then with our ball, our patched round ball, make sure I'm only dealing with one patch here. I have double patched before and was wondering why in the world this thing was so hard to get started, and until I figured that out. Of course, at that point, what I ended up doing was just shooting it anyway after I got it seated, so because it would be easier to shoot it than it would be to pull it. All right, let's do shot number 2 and see if we're in the same neighborhood as we were. Terrible getting old. Can't see it as fell out. I'm a couple inches out from there, but I'm in the same neighborhood. Shot a little high that time, but that's okay. A little high from the standpoint of the previous shot. Okay, I'll take it. So let's walk down and let me show you what we've got. Okay, here we are. That's the Hawken target. So if you're looking at this target, you're going to see that that circle, the stick-on bullseye, is 3 inches. So if I were to superimpose that over top of all 3 shots, it would be about a 3-inch group. Not absolutely terrible, but way further away from what I like to have. But I think that's close to what the rifle will do based on last year. This gun here is capable of a whole lot better, obviously, because of that group right there. But it's a little bit of a conundrum. Okay, so that's fun times at the range, getting ready for hunting season. Obviously, I'm not as good a shot as I used to be, or at least that I thought I was. That being said, I think I'm okay. I typically shoot from some type of shooting stick or something, so it's not going to be totally offhand unless I have a ridiculous weird shot. At any rate, it's been a lot of fun. Make sure that if you get involved in this, that you follow all safety rules, and it also it's a pretty big sense of satisfaction for me, and hopefully it will be you. And I may take a couple of extra shots at a steel target I've got down there. I can't video that, like I want to with me shooting and you seeing the steel target, but I'm going to try it offhand. The steel target that I've got down there at the 50-yard line is about the same size, so I may check back in a little bit and tell you how I did. All right, I had to come down here and show you what the deal is. So I took one shot with each rifle, and here's what's up. The one on the left is was the Hawken, and it's at 50 yards. As you can see, it's right here next to this target. It's at 50 yards, and laterally, it's almost the exact same distance as where these shots actually fell on this target. This plate is smaller than the paper plates I was using. On the right, you see the Pennsylvania long rifle. Both of these shots were taken offhand. That's just me standing beside the bench, aiming at the target. So I was weaving a little bit, hadn't done that in a while, and it worked out really well. So took a couple of shots, which I just showed you, offhand, 50 yards, one with each gun. Hit the target, hit the plate. The steel plate, it's smaller than the paper plates actually. I think it's like 8 inches if I remember correctly. And I was able to hit both times. One I shot a little bit to the left, the other one I shot a little bit to the right. I was aiming as close to dead center as I could get. So I'm okay with that. 50 yards, I think I can hold my own if any game comes in. And so I'm feeling pretty good. I may try to get out one more time. Still got, at the time this is being recorded, I've still got 3 weeks before muzzleloading season opens. So next weekend after, maybe I might see if I can get out there and get a few more shots with my with the rifle of choice. I'm basically going to have to flip a coin to pick out which one I'm going to use. All right, so that's it for today, and I want to thank you very much for visiting Variety Homestead, for hanging with me as I sight in and see how these black powder rifles are doing. Again, it's a lot of fun, something you can get involved in yourself. And until next time, I hope you have a great one.